What does it take for a nation to rise from colonial rule to independence? This is the story of Zambia, its struggles, its leaders, and the people who fought for a free and self governing nation. Before Zambia was Zambia, it was Northern Rhodesia, a British colony where the indigenous people had little power, lived under racial segregation, and endured economic hardship under foreign rule. Zambia's colonial history began in 1888 when Cecil Rhodes' British South Africa Company secured mineral rights to the region. By 1924, the British government took full control, making Northern Rhodesia a protectorate. The Copperbelt region, rich in copper deposits, became the backbone of the economy, but only for the benefit of the British. While copper flowed into European markets, local workers were left with poor wages, harsh conditions, and limited rights. The colonial system favored European settlers, denying Zambians land ownership, political representation, and access to quality education. The 1940s saw the rise of resistance against British rule. The Northern Rhodesia African National Congress (ANC), led by Harry Mwanga Nkumbula, was the first major political movement calling for reforms. Among its key members was a young and determined leader, Kenneth Kaunda. In 1958, frustrated by the slow progress, Kaunda broke away to form the Zambia African National Congress. The British quickly banned the party, arresting Kaunda and other leaders, but the fire for independence had already been lit. From the ashes of Zambia African National Congress, the United National Independence Party (UNIP) was born, uniting Zambians under one goal: freedom. The 1960s were a turning point across Africa. Colonies were gaining independence. The British, pressured by growing nationalist movement, finally agreed to talks. In 1962, a new constitution allowed Africans to have more representation in government. In 1964, Zambians went to the polls. Kenneth Kaunda and UNIP won a decisive victory. On October 24, 1964, Northern Rhodesia became Zambia. The Zambian national flag was raised for the first time and a new era began. As Zambia's first president, Kaunda embraced a socialist path, focusing on national unity, education, and economic development. Zambia became a safe haven for liberation fighters from South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Namibia. However, challenges arose: falling copper prices, economic struggles, and growing dissatisfaction with Kaunda's one-party rule led to call for change. By 1991, Zambia was ready for a new chapter. The movement of multi-party democracy, MMD, led by Frederick Chiluba, challenged Kaunda's rule. In a historic election, Zambia peacefully transitioned to a multi-party democracy, ending Kaunda's 27-year reign. It was a moment of change, a return to democracy, and a new path for Zambia's future. Today's Zambia stands as a proud nation, rich in culture and resources. Its independence paved the way for generations to shape their identity. The struggles of the past serve as lessons for the future, reminding us that freedom is never given, it is earned. This is Zambia's road to independence, a story of resilience, courage, and hope. I'll just ask if you could kindly introduce yourself, your name, profession, and what it is that you do.
Okay, thank you for having me. My name is William Sakala. I'm actually, by profession, I'm an accountant. Um, I'm also a pastor.
My name is Sylvia Banda. I am the mother of four boys, and I'm the proprietor of Silver Group of Companies in Zambia.
All right, thank you so much. My name is Sam Mwikisa. Um, I think I'm a musician. I'm many other things. I'm a musician. I'm an actuarial scientist as well. So I'm happy to be in this interview. Thank you.
I'm Andrew Phiri, a journalist by profession and practice. I'm happy to talk to you, Mphatso, today.
Last year, we just celebrated 60 years of independence. And in your line of work, what are some of the major changes that you've seen ever since since these past years?
Okay, well, I'm so glad that I participated in Zambia at 60. And also, I was able to go around prior to that independence to be able to look at what are some of the major changes that have occurred in the country. And I was so amazed to look at how the health sector has evolved over time. I'll give you an example. I visited this facility in my hometown, or maybe should I say the village where I'm coming from, because I come from the eastern part of Zambia. And so I visited a facility called Mwami Hospital, which was constructed pre-independence in 1923. So meaning that in 2023, the year before our 60th anniversary, it's 100 years. So now, what was interesting was me meeting a man that was working there pre-independence. He's 93 years of age, and he told the story how the health sector has evolved. So when it comes to my profession, apart from because journalism depends on other sites and people for it to be carried out. So what has changed in my profession the past 60 years is how the journalism profession has evolved as regards how news is collected. And those days they never had platforms that we have with the digital age, but they used to do some sort of journalism. They used to depend on writing. They used to depend on all these other platforms. But now we see that we have multiple platforms.
I'll answer that with a disclaimer: the fact that I wasn't there when Zambia was getting independent. However, major changes that differentiate the current Zambia from the previous colonial government under the Northern Rhodesian government is that Zambians can own property. Zambians are homeowners, and significantly, what happened in 1994 was that there was an introduction of a capital market. The Lusaka Stock Exchange came into being, and that opened up the door for people to take some kind of ownership into the businesses, major businesses in the country. Before independence, there were no universities in Zambia. And after independence, I think we had, first of all, the University of Zambia, and then the Copperbelt University. And now we have many universities. And you find people flocking to Zambia, even from our neighboring countries. And an educated populace is a very, very important aspect. And the more our people get learned, they'll be able to make right decisions. And sooner or later, you'll find that even the economic decisions that we are making will actually be right decisions.
Because we were colonized by the British, meaning that even the kind of dressing, the way we were dressing, is one has to have a tie if they are men, one has to wear the jacket, one has to be in a suit. But and women also we were dressing like as if we were British. But eventually we realized that we are Zambians and we're supposed to dress the way we're supposed to be. And that is our national identity. So I thank God that I'm one of those that really promoted the dressing of the indigenous fabric, which is the chitenge. I'm so happy now when I see a lot of people wearing chitenges. To me, it makes me a very, very happy person. I've seen in Zambia, almost every woman, if they open their wardrobes, you'll find that they've got the national attire, which is a chitenge, which is good because that is our identity. And when it comes to food also, as I mentioned, I am the pioneer actually in the promotion of indigenous foods. We call it neglected and underutilized crops. Again, when we started the promotion of that as my company, people were thinking maybe we're crazy. We did not have ideas of where we can invest our money. How can you start promoting the indigenous food? But they didn't understand what actually we're trying to do. But thank God now, each and every restaurant in Zambia or hotel where you go, they are using the traditional vegetables. And it makes me very happy as a Zambian.
I can say technological changes. Yeah. I would estimate somewhere after 2012, 2013, somewhere after that, I think I observed a vast increase in the use of technology, and that also spans across like the use of technology in businesses, and that's also good for like the economy. So many people are doing businesses online. I'm pretty sure the number of people that have gadgets now is way more than back then. So I think Zambians are using technology and still improving in technology as days go by. So that's one of the major changes.
What makes you proud to be Zambian?
That's a good one. One of the things is the food. The food is amazing. The food is amazing. There's this one thing I like to say. Okay, so in Zambia we eat nshima as our staple food. So sometimes I'll joke with my friends to say there's this one place where nshima is going to hit, where no other food hits. Yeah, so I think the food is amazing. Zambians are known to be friendly people, and Zambia is a peaceful country. So coming from such a place where are known to be friendly people, welcoming people, that just makes me proud to be Zambian.
I can say its people are the greatest asset. Their attitude, the way they carry themselves, their hospitality. I think that's the major highlight when you come to Zambia, to be able to interact with the people. They are very friendly people, or we are friendly people, and we carry a smile.
Movement of speech, movement, also freedom of worship, and also freedom of doing business. These three things makes me feel that I'm a real Zambian because anytime I can walk up and praise my God without looking here and there. I can walk around with my Bible. No one will come and arrest me. And the freedom of speech. I can criticize anyone who's not doing well, including the powers that be. If at all I feel that they are not doing the right thing, I've got that freedom of speech. And the other one also, the freedom of doing business. In Zambia is one country where one just walks up and say, I want to go into this business. You can even start doing business, first of all, without even the registration of the business until you understand what it means by someone doing business. That's when now you start normalizing. Whereby in other countries, actually, you cannot even sell anything before you put all the papers together, you'll be arrested. So these three things makes me real happy that I'm a real Zambian.
What legacy do you think Zambians of your age should leave for future generations to come?
Long-term planning. That's a major issue that we have with what you could say Zambian mentality or mindset. I think the mindset has to change. We're supposed to plan ahead of time, 5 years, 10 years ahead, and be able to be deliberate in what we want to have in the future. And I think that's the major legacy that I would love to inculcate in the next generation. That as you start work, think about where are you going to be in 10 years' time. Um, Begin to plan for financial freedom or things of that sort. Begin to plan for your retirement, for your uh, college education for your children, and all those things. So, to have a mindset of planning long term, I think that is very, very important.
For Zambians of my age, well, at this point in time, Zambia has been going through a lot. Let me start from that. Looking at the economic side, we're still recovering from, firstly, effects of the coronavirus. Economically, was still a developing country. So starting from there, as people of my age, the youth, for example, I think it's the resilience in such times that we are building, and that's a legacy enough for us to carry for future generations. The resilience we're building in such difficult times. And then also one last thing I'd like to mention on that point is, well, the good fight against corruption. Yeah, because fighting against corruption, it will eventually lead to economic growth in many ways. So I think those 2 points are major legacies we need to be remembered by Zambians.
The legacy of hard working, we should ensure that we pass that one to the children to say things don't just come on the phone. You really have to work hard in order for you to earn them. And our dignity as Zambians, we should never ever allow someone else to come and dictate, things for us.
As we conclude now, uh, for those who haven't been to Zambia, what places would you recommend they visit and foods to try?
Oh, of course, the famous Victoria Falls in Livingstone. That's the one of the seven wonders of the world. I think once they get there, I think it's going to be one of the exciting um, moments that they will ever have. The foods, I think our local, could I call them cuisines? I don't know whether I've used the right term, like our nshima. They can try our carpenter and all those our local our local dishes. I think they will find it very interesting to be in Zambia, and they'll find the people smiling, and almost everyone, uh, although it's a bold claim, almost everyone speaks English.
Make sure to come to Zambia.
Come to Zambia.